And to hear these outrageous statements about dam building from Senator Ayres reminded me of soon after the last federal election when Labor got in, and I wept. I wept when I heard that the 9 years of work that we had put in to establish funding, proper funding for serious water projects, particularly in my part of the country, in Northern Australia, would be scrapped overnight with no reason to remove the opportunity for the northern part of the country to build great agricultural projects, to secure regional and rural communities, to advance manufacturing and the development of whatever we wanted, because we would have secure water. But overnight, the minister removed that opportunity for Northern Australia, ripped it away, because the Labor Party comrades, whether they be in Queensland or in the Northern Territory or in Western Australia, they made sure that dams weren't built. Because under our constitution, the states do have water control. Yep. And they made sure that this important water projects weren't built. And in fact, it was Mr Shorten from the other place, who was in my hometown, who told people there that the Labor Party didn't believe in dams because they were 19th century technology. I wonder what he thinks does capture water, to store it during the times when it rains and to use it in the times when it doesn't. But this is just one example, and I don't want to get stuck on this because Senator Ayres has led us up a garden path and I've been distracted by his gobbledygook. But I did want to talk about water, and I rise to speak on the motion, the notice of motion proposed that the Environment and Communications References Committee inquire into this particular project, the proposed carbon capture and storage project in the Great Artesian Basin. Because I grew up on sub-artesian water. I've probably pulled more windmills and seen more pump jacks, broken rods, that sort of technology than most. And I understand how the difference between water supply and the security that brings, how important that is to a farmer, to a grazier and to these communities. And when I was in the Queensland government, I fought passionately and strongly for appropriate regulations to provide a balance for agriculture and CSG when that was being developed in Queensland just over 10 years ago. The establishment of the Gasfields Commission provided that kind of transparency and ability for farmers and graziers to make decisions on their land, on their farms, and what was good for their community. I thought that was work that was really well done. Because properly managed, these things can coexist. It results in more successful communities. It results in money coming into the communities. It results in more services, more hospitals, more teachers, more police that service the agricultural communities in those regions. But it is important to get it right. And how shocking it is to discover that this project, which the state Labor government in Queensland supported, this trial project, at the very same time the other government department in that Labor government was giving out water licences to farmers. So on one hand they're saying this water's not potable and this is an excellent place for you to do this project. This is where you should do this trial. But on the other hand, they're saying to farmers, pay up and we'll give you a licence. That is shocking. That is a betrayal of every bit of good government that allows for these important industries to develop. And it was a lie. It was a lie to farmers and a lie to graziers. We have been talking about a CCS project being trialled in a region where it should not have been allowed to be trialled. It's as simple as that. But I do believe in the CCS technology, mostly because I've just come back from the Canadian mining conference, 30,000 miners from around the world, where they are using CCS to compete with us in places like Canada, where they've been using the technology for some time. They're using the technology in appropriate places, not in places where farmers are drawing on the same aquifer. That is not an appropriate place. But in time, I believe that we will be able to have a successful industry in CCS, places like offshore, where Santos and INPEX are proposing. From that, because the point of the debate tonight is that we utilise a Senate inquiry, a very appropriate place, to shine a bright light onto this trial technology into an agricultural aquifer. This is the right place to do it. And it is for this reason that the Coalition, the National Party, which fights every day for farmers, for agriculture and for the right to grow food, because this is food, the most important job on the face of the earth, and the Liberal Party, we stand and support this reference because we believe this is good government. This is transparency. This is the sort of transparency that you don't see from this government